I guess I wasn't sure what the point of this is, other than being an assignment, a homework assignment for something that's coming up. But I have been drawn to sad things. Not that I've been feeling sad, but the sad things are of interest to me. And something occurred this morning while I was out to breakfast. I've been going out to McDonald's on Sundays for a while now, and I met someone there. I wasn't particularly interested in starting a conversation with this person, but he was with me. His name is Bill. And I came to realize, after chatting with him a bit, that he was extremely bright. He's a gentleman in his 70s and not in good health. And I found out that he's very knowledgeable about politics and economics, not so much about science, my area, but we had a lot in common to talk about. And what I particularly enjoyed is he had a very quick mind. So that, how do I explain this? Big sister, a former girlfriend, had a very quick mind like that. And she said, you know, there's something bad about having that. And I know that could sound somewhat arrogant, but it's that you don't have a lot of people to talk to where you can do that thing. And that thing is just talk and make these connections and all. And it's a certain way of communicating where things are happening quickly and there's a lot going on, just a lot of clever little stuff going on. And I had that with Steve, too. I mean, there are other characteristics that I value very much, but that's one of them, and Bill had that, and I found that wonderful, because there aren't a lot of people, even friends I have, that have that ability to, you know, to just click and go back and forth and all, and so I started to talk to him, and yeah, it was great because we talked about politics, we talked about economics and all this, and also we started over time to talk about ourselves. And the thing is, just little bits and stuff, you know, what I did for a living, what he used to do. He was a certified public accountant, and I mentioned a relationship I had in the past, and he mentioned his wife and their divorce and stuff like that. But that was the smallest part of our conversation. It was basically just, you know, interesting BS about Governor Scott in Florida and other stuff like that, and bills that were passing in the legislature, different things happening in the stock market, just passing the time. But it was just a very enjoyable conversation. The only hard part is he just never wanted me to leave. You know, he's retired, and so I understood, you know, and there's this kind of thing that people that don't have a lot to do, and that's kind of trying to keep the conversation going. So I figured out a way to get out of there by saying, and it's true, I'd, you know, have coffee and my bladder would get full, and I'd use that as an excuse. And the first time I did that, he says, "I'll go with you," but I really did have a full bladder and proved it to him. You know, he could hear me going, and I think he questioned whether I actually did, and thought this would be a clever way, and all. But now he respects that when I say that, you know, I'm saying, hey, listen, I got to go and all. But anyway, he had brought up the fact that his son, one of his sons had died, and I forgot how it came up. And okay, so I said, oh, I'm sorry and all, but it kind of worked its way into the conversation and all. So we've been talking for six weeks or so, and today we were talking about, like I was talking about my lifestyle. We were both talking about finances and stuff, him being a CPA and all. That came up a bunch, and investments and all. And I was talking about the fact that, you know, even though I make good money, I don't really buy fancy things. To me, it's not important. you know, to show them off or to even have them. I don't know if I have my iPad case around here. Hang on, let me get it. I'm not wearing any pants here, but that's okay. I never wear pants when I make videos. I mean, I don't think anyone does. That's my iPad case. You see, it's a DHL thing, and it works great. I mean, it's better than the $120 cases, because what I do is I just throw it in here, and this is my tutoring bag, and I bring it for tutoring, and that's the shit. So that's the kind of thing. But one of my students, she bought me a real nice one because she thought that was ratty, which it is, but I don't give a fuck. To me, it's functional, and I guess I also like the fact, explaining myself a little bit too much here, that if you spend $500 on something like that, that it makes a lot of sense just to take a DHL thing and cut it up and put some tape on it and use that instead of spending 120 bucks on something made of leather, whatever. Anyway, so I brought that up, and then he kind of said, well, my ex-wife, you know, she made me wear a gold chain, or, you know, and so that's where he was kind of headed. He was heading toward the ex-wife and thing, but what ended up, I was saying next, was that, you know, for example, I'm self-employed, and you know, so I don't drive during rush hour or when there's traffic, because I can do that, and he said that's what led to my divorce. So now that's the intro to this, and it's actually not funny or humorous, really. It's sad, but it's both to me, because I laugh at misery and pain like we all do, if we're good human beings, because it's a good way to deal with life. So yeah, and I already kind of figured what was going to happen. That's the interesting thing. By the way he said it, I kind of knew what was going to happen. And he started to talk for the first time, and told me that, yeah, I mean, he would get home late, he would work a lot, and he would basically, the story ended up that he got home one day a little earlier than usual, and the neighbor was with his wife, and that's really a pretty terrible thing, but it's kind of funny in a way. And he wasn't presenting this with any kind of affect. Now, he's got a very up affect, a very humorous thing, and he was just presenting this flat, but with no detectable sense of emotion, no twitching of the eyes, no shifting of the body, all that stuff. He was just completely flat. And so this was his opportunity to really begin to tell me the story, because he'd got to know me and to trust me enough to talk about it. And I come to find out that what happened to him, at least as far as I know as of today, is that, well, it led to a divorce, but he said that, you know, his former wife and the couple next door would go traveling together, they were friends together, and ended up that the guy ended up moving into his house, which he lost, and his wife kept the kids, and basically, through ways I don't really know, he didn't just lose a son. He has 3 children, and he lost two of them are now dead, and I don't know the circumstances, but I know that for the one child that is alive, well, that's his son. He visits him once in a while. He lives out of state. His ex-wife lives out of state, and he has grandkids, but he doesn't get to see them because his daughter-in-law apparently got poisoned by his ex-wife, and he manages now to see them on Facebook, but not because they let him, but because his son managed to give him his password so he could do that. And it's kind of messed up. And he tells me this all like just just flat, without affect. And I asked him how old the kids were, you know, when the divorce occurred, and he said the youngest was 6 and the oldest was 9. And I said, well, that's a tough age, you know. And he says, well, I don't know if it's a tough age. I said, well, usually when they're older, you know, it's easier. He says, well, you never know. And that's his tell. I've got to know him. When he says you never know, it doesn't mean you never know. And I kind of thought, should I call him on it or not? And I thought, well, he's revealing a lot. Let me call it on him. And I said, you know, Bill, you say you never know at certain times. And he picked up on it right away. He says, yeah, I say it when I don't want to know. And nothing, no emotions, just flat. But I suddenly begin to see his pain, but there's nothing there. It's just analytical and descriptive, and he's a very analytical guy. A very logical, right-cornered mind, you know, 90-degree angled mind, but obviously there's much more there. And I don't mind hearing this. But I do understand that he's alone. He has a woman that helps him. He has neurological, has nerve damage. He wears a neck brace. He can't really use his fingers to write with anymore. He has to lay in bed for large periods of the day and can only go out a little bit. His son lives out of town. He doesn't have the connections. He knows some people locally that are his age. And he's brilliant, and he doesn't show any emotion. And I know that when I'll be back there next Sunday to talk with him. I suspect I'll hear more. And understand, this didn't come out of the blue. We've been talking for a while, and he knows about me. I've revealed lots of things, but it's just the weird thing, the fact that there's no affect, and that's troubling to me. Anyway, I have affect. It feels sad. And I know that I'm kind of relishing feeling sad, kind of like I said, as homework. My dad has taken a bit of a turn for the worse. He has cancer, and although it doesn't appear there's anything immediate happening, it's just that between the cancer and all the drugs he's taking, which are toxic, it's destroying his body, the two of them. And that's sad, along with the ultimate outcome, which is inevitable, I guess. So, see ya.